This is everything you need to know about the Prelude, your ultimate guide to understanding how this car became a cult classic. In 1978, the automotive world witnessed a revolution with the launch of Honda's first-generation Prelude, a bold entry into the sports coupe domain. The Prelude was a game-changer with its front-wheel drive layout, which was uncommon among sports cars of the era. Crafted on the Accord's framework, yet boasting a more compact wheelbase, its design was a blend of elegance and functionality. Under its hood, it was powered by a 1.6-liter engine capable of 68 horsepower, a figure that, while not record-breaking, provided a lively driving experience thanks to its lightweight design. You could choose between a snappy 5-speed manual or the quirky 2-speed Honda-matic semi-automatic, which soon evolved into a more practical 3-speed automatic. The Prelude was a strategic move by Honda to carve out a significant niche in the global automotive markets, especially in North America and Europe. It made an indelible mark, often drawing comparisons to its contemporaries like the Toyota Celica, which had already established a strong foothold in the market since 1970. By the time the Prelude's production run wrapped up in 1982, over 313,000 units had rolled off the line, with a whopping 80% finding homes beyond Japan. Despite its brilliance, the Prelude faced an uphill battle in Europe, where its higher price tag made it a rare sight on the streets. Yet, for those who knew, the Prelude wasn't just a car, it was a statement, a slice of automotive history that still turns heads and warms hearts. The second generation made its grand debut in Japan in 1982. And by the spring of '83, it was turning heads worldwide. It brought a sleek, a more aerodynamic look to the party. Sporting a brand new platform, it came with a 1.8-liter, pushing around 105 horsepower. But in lands far and wide, in Japan, Asia, and Europe, a beastly 2-liter engine joined the lineup. This version was a powerhouse with 160 horsepower, while the European version, which was no slouch either, delivered around 137 horses. The European models also got a bit of a facelift with revised rear lights and bumpers that matched the car's color. This version of the Prelude was a hit in Britain, outshining its predecessor and selling like hotcakes in a time when sports cars were more of a rare breed. It arrived as Ford was saying goodbye to the Capri, proving that the Prelude was not just another sports car, it was a trendsetter, ready to fill the void with its power, style, and innovation. Back in 1987, the world got a taste of the future with the launch of the third-generation Prelude in Japan. This wasn't just any old car refresh. It was a glimpse into what Honda had up its sleeve, sharing a style vibe with the yet-to-be-released NSX. This Prelude was jam-packed with cutting-edge features for its era, boasting a slick 0.34 drag coefficient and the world's first mechanical 4-wheel steering system in a mass-production passenger car. This setup meant lane changes at highway speeds needed just a whisper of input, making the Prelude a nimble beast in tricky conditions. Honda's crystal ball predicted that a modest 30% of buyers would probably opt for the 4-wheel steering magic. But the Prelude smashed expectations in its home market, with a whopping 80% of buyers in its first year choosing this futuristic feature. Under the hood, it was all about the B20A engine, offering a carbureted base model with a single overhead cam 12-valve setup, or a more snazzy double overhead cam variant, complete with Honda's fuel injection and 16 valves. The European Car of the Year in 1988 were pretty impressed, placing the Prelude third in a lineup where the Peugeot 405 took the crown and the Citroën AX snagged second place. The Prelude was crowned Wheels magazine's Car of the Year in 1987, sealing its fate as a legend on wheels. This Honda wasn't just ahead of its time, it was setting the pace, leaving even the mightiest of sports cars watching its taillights. The stage was set on September 1991, when the 4th-gen Prelude rolled into the spotlight in Japan. It was all about balance. boasting a 58% front to 42% rear weight distribution that made it handle like a dream. Honda decided to jazz things up by swapping the old mechanical four-wheel steering for a snazzy electronic version and pumping up the engine sizes. Inside, it kept its cool with light blue backlighting, and later models flaunted translucent speedometer and tachometer needles. Luxury wasn't spared. It was wrapped in leather and serenaded by an 8-speaker audio system. Perhaps the most notable feature of this generation was that it also came with a VTEC variant, which cranked it up to a thrilling 190 horsepower, depending on where you were and which model you got. The VTEC models also got a brake upgrade, moving to larger rotors and calipers for that extra stopping power. This Prelude wasn't just about looking good and driving fast. It shared some suspension components with the 5th Gen Accord, ensuring it could handle whatever the road threw at it. But despite its best efforts to keep the legacy alive, approximately only 98,000 units were sold, while the previous generation sold around 160,000, which is a decline of about 38%. Yet, in the hearts of those who knew its value, the Prelude remains a symbol of a bygone era of automotive excellence, its legacy enduring beyond the numbers. In 1996, the automotive world welcomed the 5th generation, which stuck to its front-engine, front-wheel drive roots. Sporting a 2-door notchback look, this Prelude toned down the aggression for a sharper, more angular vibe. The ATTS model, or the Type S in Japan and Type SH in North America, was Honda's tech showcase, featuring the active torque transfer system. This clever bit of engineering magic was all about giving the outside front wheel extra power in the curves, making it spin up to 15% faster than its inside counterpart, and directing up to 80% of the engine's torque to just one wheel. Despite its futuristic tech, the Prelude's front-heavy disposition was a tough act for the ATTS to follow, struggling a bit to hide the front-wheel drive understeer. Canada got to choose from 3 Prelude flavors, while the US made do with 2. All of them rolling out with a 195 horsepower 2.2-liter VTEC engine that later got a bump to 200 horses. Aussies and the JDM crowd enjoyed lighter Preludes compared to their American and European cousins, tipping the scales at a lean 2,800 pounds. Most of these 5th-gen beauties came with hefty 11-inch front brakes and standard ABS to keep things tidy. This generation of the Prelude was all about blending classic charm with modern tech, offering a ride that was as nostalgic as it was forward-thinking. However, the curtain fell on the beloved Prelude after the 5th generation, due to a combination of factors that led to its discontinuation. Despite its prowess on the road and a legacy of pushing the boundaries of automotive technology, sales of the Prelude began to decline. This was attributed to a semi-high price tag that couldn't compete effectively as Honda's premium brand, Acura, began to rise in popularity. The sales figures starkly highlight this decline, with only 58,000 units of the 5th generation Prelude sold in the US, a significant drop from about 336,000 units sold during its 3rd generation. These changing trends, coupled with rising production costs against falling sales, made the continuation of the Prelude untenable for Honda.